Hello kids! Welcome to Year 3 Math. Objectives of the lesson: students will be able to compare fractions with the same denominators. Arrange and compare between fractions with common denominators. In our lesson for today is all about comparing and ordering fractions. Here are 2 chocolates cake and both cut in 2 quarters. 3/4 of this cake remains, 1/4 of this cake remains. Which is the biggest piece? 3/4 is greater than 1/4, so 3/4 is greater than 1/4. So fractions that have the same denominator are called like fractions. 3/4 and 1/4 are like fractions. If the denominators are the same, then compare the numerators to put fractions in order. Another examples. Before we start, let's remind ourselves what fraction is. A fraction represents an equal part of a whole or a group. Here is one whole circle. This is a fraction 1/3. The 3 or bottom number in a fraction is called a denominator. The denominator tells us how many equal parts there are. To be a fraction, all parts must be equal. We have 3 total equal parts that make up a whole circle. The numerator tells us how many equal parts we're talking about. For example, the number 1 in the numerator is referring from one green part of the circle. The fraction is 1/3 or 1/4 of the 3 equal parts. When we compare fraction, we want to know what fraction is greater than, less than, or equal to. Here we are comparing 2/4 and 3/4. One great way we can compare them by using models or drawings. When comparing fractions, you want to make sure the models or drawings or rectangle in this case are the same size. If we have different size drawings, that would not work. So keep them the same size. Each of these rectangles is divided into 4 parts because the denominators are 4. The left fraction has 2 spots that are color green and the right fraction has 3 spots that are color green. Looking at the 2 models, can you tell me which one is bigger or has more green? Yes, the fraction on the right. 3/4 is bigger than 2/4. The space glitter mouth always opens to the bigger number, so it wants to eat the 3/4. So we can say that 2/4 is less than 3/4. Great job! Another example. First, strategy is called common denominators. And we use this strategy, have 2 fractions have the same denominator. In this case, the denominator is 6. In order for us to figure out what's more, for 6 or 2/6, we have to think about what the denominator actually means. So if we want to take a look at both of these wholes that we're talking about, a whole for 4/6 and a whole for 2/6, both of these wholes are cut into 6 equal pieces, which means that the sizes of these pieces in each whole are the same. That the denominator means it actually tells us the size of the pieces. So both wholes are cut into 6 pieces. Let us take a look at the numerator. And what does numerator tells us? Tells us the number of pieces that we're looking at. So in the case of 4/6, we're looking at 4 pieces out of 6. In the case of 2/6, we're looking at 2 pieces out of 6. And therefore, you could visually see that the 4/6 is greater. Always remember, the larger the numerator is the greater fraction when comparing same denominator. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for your attention.